Okay, boom. So this is gonna be Lauren London speaking out about Diddy, basically saying that he hated Nipsey Hussle and he wanted him gone. So one of the clips is gonna be a 13-minute clip. The other clip's gonna be 27 minutes. In the clip where he goes on a talk show and basically says that Diddy planned Nip's death. So long live Nip, man. We can get content. This clip comes from uh Rap Flux. So the first clip comes from Rap Flux. We're gonna get into this. Before we do, make sure you follow me on Kick, Twitch, Discord, IG, TikTok, Rumble, type, like, hit the notification bell so you know when we live. Let's get into the content.
I cracked you up.
Nip ain't know what type of monster he was.
Lauren?
No, I'm saying Lauren introduced me to Puff.
Oh, got you.
I mean, I knew Puff, but it was more of a personal relationship after, we was at Cassie's birthday.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Nip had no ego. So, you know what I'm saying? Like Nip came to me and said, I want you to mentor me. You know, I want to get into real estate. I want you to teach me all your, you know what I mean? Like your business secrets. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whenever you got questions, pull up. And then on his last album, people do not know this. Somebody tried to jerk me, but I fixed it. I actually am one of the executive producers of Nipsey Hussle's last album.
Victory lap.
Yeah, Victory.
Just when it felt like the Diddy situation could not sink any lower, another wild claim hit the timeline hard. Lauren London's name is now being dragged into the conversation, with people online claiming she shared unsettling details about Diddy's alleged connection to Nipsey Hussle's death. The talk is that Lauren was the bridge that introduced Nipsey to Diddy's inner circle. So many are saying if anyone knew what was really going on, it would be her. Word on the street claims Diddy allegedly pushed for a meeting and Lauren followed through, no questions asked. And that's not even the part that has folks shook. Some people are also claiming Lauren knew about the drama involving Cassie and stayed silent. For context, Diddy and Lauren were once extremely close, with insiders describing the bond as a powerful mentor-style relationship. It's still unclear what truly went down behind closed doors, and there's no proof he treated Lauren the way Cassie described her experience. But sources claim Lauren was exposed to some dark energy during that time. Things get even stranger when old rumors resurface. Years back, people claimed Diddy bought a gold casket weeks before Kim Porter passed away. Now, similar whispers are circling Lauren, with claims she made a hauntingly similar move shortly before Nipsey's death. What really set social media off is that Lauren allegedly spoke about it herself during an emotional interview afterward, leaving many viewers disturbed and full of questions. Now here's why people really started side-eyeing Lauren when Diddy's trial kicked off. Once the case went public, the jury reportedly received a list of celebrity names tied to the situation for background review. That list had some heavy hitters on it, including Michael B. Jordan, Kid Cudi, Cassie, Michelle Williams, Mike Myers, Dawn Richard, and yes, Lauren London. The internet instantly went into detective mode, with people speculating that Lauren's name showing up wasn't random at all. Some even went as far as claiming she may have played a role in setting Nipsey up, allegedly. And that shook a lot of people. What's wild is that right after Nipsey passed, many already felt something was off. Folks whispered that he may have been set up, but Diddy's name wasn't part of that conversation back then. Nipsey stood out in the rap game for a reason. He wasn't chasing industry approval. He owned his masters, moved independently, and taught younger artists how to build real wealth without signing their souls away to major labels. That kind of independence didn't sit well with powerful industry figures. Diddy, in particular, has long been accused of pushing contracts that heavily favored him. Nipsey represented everything that system didn't want. He showed artists they could win without gatekeepers, and that scared people who made money off controlling talent. According to online chatter, If Diddy couldn't profit from Nipsey's movement, some believe he became a threat to the old system, allegedly. This is where Lauren's name keeps popping up. In an interview Nipsey did on The Breakfast Club, he mentioned that he didn't really have a relationship with Diddy until Lauren introduced them. By that time, Lauren and Diddy already had a long-standing connection, and people believe she knew exactly who she was dealing with. That detail alone has kept social media buzzing nonstop. But here's the part that really has people talking. Despite knowing Diddy's reputation, Lauren still brought Nipsey into his world anyway, and many online believe that move wasn't innocent at all. Some are straight up saying she and Diddy were moving in sync behind the scenes, working together while Nipsey stayed in the dark. That idea alone has people feeling uneasy.
Nip ain't know what type of monster he was.
Lauren? No, I'm saying Lauren introduced me to Puff.
Oh, got you.
I mean, I knew Puff, but it was more of a personal relationship after, we was at Cassie's birthday.
Nipsey was only 33 years old when his life was cut short, and reports say he was shot multiple times. Eric R. Holder Jr. is currently serving 60 years to life for the crime, but a lot of folks don't believe the story ends there. There's a strong belief floating around that he was just the fall guy, with people pointing to Diddy's long-standing reputation for staying clean while others take the blame. That theory didn't come out of nowhere. For something like this to even work, people argue Diddy would have needed someone extremely close to Nipsey, someone trusted, someone who could quietly pass along personal details. According to claims made by Jaguar Wright, Lauren was allegedly that link.
People forgetting it was her and Lauren London. I just find it so funny how people are always omitting names and not really looking into the...
Those comments shook a lot of viewers and sent social media into a frenzy. Based on what Jaguar suggested, many felt she was implying that Lauren may have shared private Nipsey had with her. Some even believe that information could have been twisted and used against him, which is a chilling thought. Photos of Lauren and Nipsey standing next to Diddy have resurfaced too, and some fans say Nipsey looks like an outsider in those moments. And just to tie this back to earlier rumors, remember the talk about Lauren allegedly doing something eerily similar to what Diddy was accused of doing before Kim Porter passed? That detail keeps popping back up, making the entire situation feel even more unsettling. Now, this is where things start feeling really eerie. Lauren revealed on Angie Martinez's podcast that before Nipsey was killed, she had already attended a death seminar to learn how to cope with loss. Let that sink in. At the time she went to this seminar, Nipsey was still alive and well, which made a lot of people pause and ask questions. Some felt like it was almost as if she sensed something tragic was coming and was mentally preparing herself ahead of time. Naturally, the internet wasted no time drawing comparisons. People immediately connected this to the long-standing rumor about Diddy allegedly buying a casket before Kim Porter passed away. The similarities felt way too close for comfort to a lot of viewers, and that comparison alone made the situation feel even heavier.
Okay, you have to tell me. You're just telling me this now.
I know, yeah.
Please share. Why?
I have a friend.
Why were you there? And what did you learn?
I learned that no one really dies and that, it's just an experience in the physical form and we're attached to our personalities, but that we're just souls and that we can continue and continue and continue.
What really caught attention is that Diddy originally had no role in Nipsey's music career at all. That changed fast once Lauren helped build a friendship between them. Suddenly, Diddy was deeply involved, even stepping in as an executive producer on Victory Lap. And let's be real, that position comes with major financial benefits. After Nipsey's death, streams for the album skyrocketed, which meant bigger earnings connected to that project. And back then, many people still viewed Diddy as a respected industry figure. So those business moves didn't raise alarms right away. But now, looking back, some believe those deals were part of something darker. According to claims made by Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, the setup around Nipsey's business relationships didn't sit right, and people are revisiting everything with fresh eyes. It's also been said that Nipsey approached Diddy wanting Victory Lap to carry the same energy as Biggie's Life After Death. That album dropped after Biggie passed, and many fans believe it carried deep spiritual weight. Because of that, some feel recreating that vibe came with a heavy cost. And sadly, some people believe that cost may have been Nipsey's life, allegedly, which is a chilling thought. And now people are really going back through old footage with fresh eyes. Clips of interviews, public appearances, and even body language moments between Lauren, Nipsey, and Diddy are being rewatched nonstop. Folks are saying certain interactions just feel off in hindsight, like there was tension nobody noticed at the time. Small comments, awkward pauses, and forced smiles are suddenly being called out, and social media is dissecting every second. One moment that keeps resurfacing is how Lauren would sometimes speak for Nipsey when Diddy was around. Viewers are saying it looked less like support and more like control, which only added fuel to the speculation. People are questioning whether Nipsey was truly comfortable in those situations or just going along with things out of respect and love for Lauren. There's also talk about how Nipsey's energy shifted in the months leading up to his death. Fans say he seemed more cautious, more guarded, and less open in interviews. Some believe he may have realized too late that getting close to powerful industry figures came with strings attached. That realization, according to online theories, could have put him in a dangerous position. What really keeps the conversation alive is that none of these details were questioned until after everything happened.
Spiritual person who's asking for something. He said, I wanted that same feel as life after death. That same feel was that Biggie got, and he went on to sell about 10 million albums. Or 10 million copies. I was saying, you gotta watch what you say to demons, because it just might come true.
At the time, it all looked normal. But now, stacked together, people feel the puzzle pieces paint a much darker picture. Whether these claims hold weight or not, the questions aren't going away anytime soon, and the internet is far done talking about it. And just when you think the story can't stretch any further, more voices start chiming in. Several industry insiders and longtime observers are now saying Nipsey may have been slowly pulling away from certain people before his death. They claim he was asking more questions, moving more carefully, and watching who really had his best interests at heart. That shift didn't go unnoticed, and some believe it may have made powerful people uncomfortable. There's also renewed focus on how fast Diddy positioned himself as a public figure of authority after Nipsey's passing. From speaking at events to being closely tied to Nipsey's legacy projects, people online felt it happened almost overnight. Some fans felt the moves came off less like grief and more like control over the narrative, which raised eyebrows everywhere. Meanwhile, Lauren's silence during certain moments has been heavily debated. People point out that she rarely addressed the rumors head-on, choosing instead to stay private and guarded. While some respect that choice, others believe the silence only added to the speculation. In the court of public opinion, unanswered questions tend to speak the loudest. What really keeps the theories alive is how many separate stories seem to overlap. Different people, different timelines, yet oddly similar patterns keep showing up. Fans say it feels like too many coincidences stacked on top of each other, and that's why the conversation refuses to die down. Whether it's truth or just suspicion, people are still searching for answers, and the spotlight isn't moving away anytime soon. When it comes to the real reason people believe Diddy wanted Nipsey out of the picture, the truth is still murky. Some say it was all about money. Others think it went way deeper into spiritual territory. Either way, a lot of people online are convinced Lauren wasn't just standing on the sidelines. As one person put it, she's way more involved than she's letting on. And that comment alone sparked another wave of debate. Many believe Diddy allegedly used Lauren as the doorway to get Nipsey to place him on victory lap as an executive producer. That move meant money rolling in without having to do the heavy lifting, which didn't sit right with fans at all. A comment that's been going viral said, Lauren introducing Nip to Diddy is wild. That's not someone you bring around a man you love. Not at all. She had to know. Those words hit hard and kept the conversation heated. At the end of the day, everything being said is still speculation. But the pieces people are lining up have them asking serious questions. Too many moments, too many connections, and too many strange coincidences have folks feeling uneasy about the whole situation. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the claims surrounding Diddy and Nipsey? And do you believe Lauren had anything to do with it too? Drop your thoughts.
See, I know Lauren London. Lauren London used to sing backgrounds for me back in the day. And she fell in love with my keyboard player. His name is Omar Edwards. Omar went on to play for Jay-Z after me, after leaving my band. Omar Edwards got Lauren London on to American Idol, which put her in position to meet Nipsey, and then she dumped Omar, who loved her madly, for Nipsey out of nowhere.
Jaguar Wright has been saying for years that Lauren London was sent into Nipsey Hussle's life the same way Faith Evans was connected to Biggie, and that claim is back in the spotlight again now. She's not the only one tossing out questions about Nipsey's tragic passing, and the chatter is getting louder by the day. Word on the street is that 50 Cent's recent documentary has people talking heavy, because he allegedly hints at behind-the-scenes tension involving Nipsey's longtime girlfriend and the mother of his child, Lauren London, stated as fact. But viewers say the clues are there, and social media has been running wild trying to connect the dots. And to be clear, 50 Cent isn't the first name tied to these rumors. Jaguar Wright and Wack 100 have both publicly brought up Lauren's name before, questioning why her name keeps circling bigger industry controversies. Some are also pointing out that Lauren London's name has been mentioned in online discussions connected to the P. Diddy case, yet that angle doesn't get much public attention. Wack 100 has also claimed that Lauren and Cassie were close at one point, and he questioned why Nipsey, after 5 years together, never proposed or spoke openly about marriage. These are opinions and speculation, not proven facts, but they've fueled non-stop debate. Lauren herself has said in interviews that after Nipsey's passing, no other man could ever replace him, while critics continue to throw around unverified claims about her industry ties, keeping the controversy boiling non-stop. According to Wack 100, Cassie, who has openly admitted in the past to helping organize so-called freak-off parties for Diddy, allegedly brought Lauren London into that same circle. He claims Cassie wasn't just setting things up, but was also pulling in celebrities, models, and industry insiders to be around those events, which raised a lot of eyebrows.
He finna let people know he was hitting Nip baby mama. You see it's coming out. Because, you know, Cassie and her was best friends. So when a playing like the way Diddy playing, this is real shit. My woman right there. My woman's right there.
Everybody in the industry that we like.
If I tell my woman...
That I don't disagree with.
Listen,
Listen, come on this
you think if Diddy told Cassie, make that happen with Laura, it wasn't gonna happen?
People online believe this follows the same playbook Diddy allegedly used with Young Miami, putting her in a position of influence and having her bring along friends and models to these private gatherings. Names like Saucy Santana have been mentioned in online discussions, and while none of this has been proven, the rumors alone have kept social media buzzing non-stop. And according to claims tied to Diddy's former producer Rodney Jones, also known as Lil Rod, this wasn't limited to just Miami or Los Angeles. He alleged there was frequent interstate travel, including trips to New York and other cities whenever Diddy wanted things handled a certain way. Rodney has been vocal about feeling mistreated, claiming he was owed money and subjected to behavior he described as inappropriate and deeply uncomfortable. Rodney also suggested that Young Miami's involvement with Diddy went far beyond a public relationship. Allegedly, she was willing to cross personal lines to stay in his favor and secure her financial position. He painted their connection as far more intense than Diddy's relationships with other women, and even claimed Young Miami had conflicts with others around Diddy without clear reasons, adding even more heat to an already messy situation. Meanwhile, Diddy made it very clear that Young Miami wasn't just someone he was seeing quietly on the low. He publicly showed her extra attention, which led many people to believe she held a special position compared to the other women around him. Young Miami, known for being street smart and strategic, was rumored to be loyal to Diddy in ways others weren't, allegedly helping manage behind-the-scenes situations tied to those infamous gatherings. According to online chatter, this allegedly included inviting people on Diddy's behalf, coordinating events, and going along with whatever strange requests were being made at the time. All of this remains unproven, but the rumors have painted a picture of someone deeply involved, not just romantically, but operationally too, which is why her name keeps coming up in these conversations.
I can't say it.
You got to.
It say take a shower. If you like golden showers, I do.
Golden showers, meaning when the guy pees on you, pee on you everywhere. You like it?
It's fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you was drunk and you just...
And they just peeing all over your body.
Using that same logic, some critics now speculate that Nipsey Hussle's longtime partner, Lauren London, may have also been connected to Diddy in private ways. Diddy's former assistant, Capricorn Clark, referenced Lauren's name during claims tied to a recent lawsuit, suggesting Lauren may have been present around certain situations, though not necessarily as an active participant. Sources say she was allegedly aware of what was happening in those spaces. Clark allegedly described scenarios where people were moving between rooms, following instructions and maintaining a certain atmosphere. In one account, it's claimed she said, "Yes, Ms. London was there. Chef Jordan in the other room. He called Cassie over, asked her to walk there, hand me that, go back in the other room." Those words have been heavily debated online, especially regarding who knew what and when. This has led to intense discussion about whether Lauren knew Cassie was under pressure during her relationship with Diddy and chose to stay silent. None of this has been proven, but it continues to fuel speculation. All of this aside, many people still question why Nipsey continued business ties connected to Diddy's circle when he was talented enough to stand strong on his own, making the entire situation feel even more complicated and unsettling. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, had plenty to say, and his comments only poured more gas on the fire. He suggested that Diddy allegedly had Nipsey Hussle on a tight leash, the kind that limits moves and controls outcomes, and that idea has had people side-eyeing the whole situation ever since.
You think it was a good idea for Nipsey to be cool with Diddy? I really can't speak on what and the reason why that man would, when he was already doing a great job himself with the team that he had. But somebody convinced him that that would be a good look for him. But no disrespect, he got what he asked for.
Rumors started flying that when Nipsey began pulling away, trying to free himself from that grip after Victory Lap shook the culture, things took a dark turn.
It really does make sense. He has had a long career of using to trap into making them do what he wants to do or using them to move them out the way. How is Faith Evans any different than Lauren London? How? No difference at all. Struggling artists trying to make their way up, not getting the break that they needed. All of a sudden they stand next to the right guy and then now you know that guy is dead and they're okay for life. You know how many people in the business that happens to? Let's look at Khalees.
Some believe the moment Nipsey tried to move independently was when his life was suddenly put into question, at least according to industry whispers that still won't die down. Of course, the official story says Eric Holder acted alone, claiming Nipsey labeled him a snitch, which led to the fatal shooting. For a long time, people also suspected Big U, someone Nipsey had tension with, of being involved in hiring Holder. On the day it happened, folks noticed Big U's whereabouts were unclear, his alibi kept shifting, and he avoided saying who he was with, which raised eyebrows everywhere. Adding more mystery, Nipsey had reportedly just refused to renew an old contract tied to Big U's label. Then came the funeral, where Big U didn't show up at all, not even out of respect. Things got even messier when he laughed off a "Justice for Nip" comment during a live video, sending the internet into full meltdown mode and turning speculation into loud accusations.
Don't know what you waiting on, though. You don't know what you waiting on, though. What you waiting on? You got to tell us what you waiting on.
Justice for Nip.
Your boy would have been there like, yeah.
On my mama, bro, I swear to God, everybody that was doing this shit.
You did. You did.
Months later, Loose Cannon dropped a major bomb on the No Jumper podcast. He claimed Big U called him and told him Nipsey had been killed nearly 30 minutes before it supposedly happened. That clip spread fast, shook the streets, and Big U made it clear he was not happy about those claims at all, keeping the controversy burning hot. After that clip blew up, Big U reportedly sent Adam 22, the owner of the podcast, a cease and desist letter demanding the episode be taken down immediately.
But for the record, the feds, when they did come, they only wanted one thing, and I feel like this will be of special interest to you. They wanted the cease and desist from Big U in regards to Loose Cannon's first appearance on No Jumper, in which Loose basically implicated Big U in the murder of the late, great Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. And did you give them the cease and desist?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, well, there you have.
That legal move only made people more suspicious because once lawyers get involved, the streets start asking even louder questions. Then Charleston White jumped into the mix and claimed he knew exactly why a hit was allegedly placed on Nipsey. According to him, Nip stopped paying his dues to Big U, and that's when things supposedly went left. This version of events has been floating around for a while, but it keeps resurfacing with new voices backing it up. Now here's where it gets even messier. Recent chatter suggests it wasn't just Big U being blamed anymore. Some sources are now claiming Diddy may have also had involvement, and according to 50 Cent, Lauren London's alleged connection to Diddy is being questioned too. All of this remains unproven and speculative, but people are digging deeper every day, and the pressure for real answers keeps building fast. Now, the conversation has shifted even harder because people aren't just questioning who pulled the trigger anymore. They're questioning who benefited afterward. That's the part that's making a lot of folks uncomfortable, and it's why this story refuses to fade away. Industry insiders keep pointing out how Nipsey's legacy exploded after his passing, with money, ownership, and influence moving fast behind the scenes. Some are asking how certain people gained leverage, control, or freedom once Nipsey was no longer here, and those questions keep circling the same powerful names. What really keeps the rumors alive is how many voices from different corners are saying similar things without coordinating. From former associates to media figures, everyone seems to hint at pressure, power plays, and quiet deals that don't sit right. Nothing has been proven, and all of this remains allegations and speculation, but the streets are watching closely. Every new interview, every leaked comment, and every old clip getting resurfaced adds another layer to a story that already feels way deeper than what the public was originally told. Now attention is turning to the silence, because in situations like this, what isn't said can speak the loudest. People have noticed how certain industry figures went quiet fast, avoided interviews, or suddenly changed their tone whenever Nipsey's name came up, and that energy hasn't gone unnoticed. Some insiders claim there were closed-door conversations and damage control happening right after the tragedy, with phones ringing and stories getting tightened up. The idea that powerful people could shape the narrative has made fans question whether the full truth was ever meant to come out. At the same time, others argue that fear plays a big role, because going against heavyweight names in the industry can cost careers overnight. That's why many believe some witnesses chose silence over safety. Again, none of this is confirmed, but the pattern has people uneasy. The longer the quiet stretches on, the more it feels like there's still a missing piece the public hasn't been allowed to see yet. Meanwhile, the internet has been sounding off, and the reactions are loud and divided. One person commented, "Lauren isn't innocent. Did he put them together just to control him?" That question alone sent people spiraling because it hints at manipulation rather than coincidence. Another commenter added that Lauren transitioned from modeling into music videos, pointing out connections between industry circles. They also mentioned that Capricorn Clark knows Diddy. Lauren was friends with Cassie, and to them, none of that feels random. Then someone else went even further, flat out saying, no, Lauren was part of it. Her and Diddy were tight as thieves. Diddy used her to get to Nipsey. Those are strong opinions, not proven facts, but they show how heated this conversation has become. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think there could be any truth to the idea that Lauren may have had something going on behind the scenes with Diddy while Nipsey was still alive? Or do you believe these claims are reaching way too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this video, and stay locked in, because the next one is just as messy and you won't want to miss it.
50 Cent recently shared a video on Instagram featuring Gene Deal, where he allegedly exposes one of Diddy's
I cracked you up.
Nip ain't know what type of monster he was.
Lauren? No, I'm saying Lauren introduced me to Puff.
Oh, got you.
I mean, I knew Puff, but it was more of a personal relationship after,
Cross.
Is that?
No. And that's wrong. Me.
I'm supposed to say you?
Yeah.
Nah.
I changed that.
I don't think so, but all right. Next question.
What was Cross's first word?
Bob.
No, Hustle Dada.
Oh,
Now, that breaking news overnight, Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle shot and killed outside his own clothing store in Los Angeles. Tributes from NBA stars and political leaders are coming in overnight, praising the performer for his focus on stopping gang violence and helping kids.
What happens when a gang member from Crenshaw becomes the only person who could unite rival gangs, tech billionaires, and the entire city of Los Angeles? And what was the mysterious documentary about a controversial healer that some believe cost Nipsey his life?
When I found out about Sebi, and it's about his case. You know, tweet me, Hustle, be careful, man. Your plane gonna go down. So you better.
Born Ermias Joseph Asgedam on August 15th, 1985, in South Central Los Angeles, Nipsey Hussle entered a world where survival wasn't guaranteed.
You know, I grew up in South Central Los Angeles. There was gang culture, drug culture. Police brutality was really rampant in the 90s when I grew up.
His mother, Angelique Smith, was African American. His father, Dawit Asgedam, had fled Eritrea in the 1970s, escaping a brutal war that would shape how his son saw the world.
You know, my family was from overseas. My dad came from Africa. Because his whole side of my family's in Africa. And then my mom, she only had one brother, and it was her.
But here's what most people don't know about Nipsey's childhood. At 14, he wasn't just hanging on street corners. He was already a member of the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips.
It's called the Crenshaw District gang. That's prominent over there. The Rollin' 60s. It's like, you know, like the west side of South Central Crenshaw District, Hyde Park area. Got a few names, but in the streets, it's known as the Rollin' 60s.
And the financial move he made at age 19 would foreshadow the business genius that would later revolutionize the music industry. But before we get there, you need to know about two shocking secrets that define Nipsey's final year. One involving a meeting with the LAPD scheduled hours after his death, and another about a documentary on a healer who allegedly cured AIDS in federal court that Nipsey was working on when he died.
Went to trial and proved in court that they cured HIV. That's a great story. You know what I mean? From that point of view, that story should be told, you know?
Growing up in the Crenshaw district, Nipsey attended Alexander Hamilton High School, but dropped out before graduating. The streets became his education. By 17, in 2002, he joined Buttervision, a creative multimedia collective where he got his stage name, a play on comedian Nipsey Russell's name, given to him because of his relentless work ethic. In 2004, when Nipsey was 19, his father did something that would alter his son's trajectory forever. He took Nipsey and his brother Samuel on a 3-month trip to Eritrea. No distractions. Nipsey was sick the first 2 weeks. Culture shock, depression. He didn't understand what to do out there. But after those first 2 weeks, he embraced what was happening. He had to let go of his comfort zone. He was used to smoking weed every day, riding around the hood in a car with rims. Once he got out of that, everything changed. One thing that struck Nipsey most about Eritrean culture, everything was built around food. That's what made a family close. You eat with your family. They moved so fast in America that families might go 7 or 8 years only eating together at Thanksgiving and Christmas. But back home in Eritrea, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., the whole city shut down. Everything except the restaurants. Everybody went home. The men went home, school let out, and everybody ate lunch together every single day.
I came back home and we could sit around the table and eat and joke with each other and, you know, connect as family. And, you know, my grandmother and I have a genuine relationship.
When Nipsey came back to LA, he was different. He had a vision, but first he had to survive. In December 2005, at 20 years old, Nipsey independently released his first mixtape, Slauson Boy Volume 1. It created enough buzz to get him signed to Cinematic Music Group and Epic Records. But this is where the story takes its first dark turn. Nipsey revealed years later that he signed his Epic Records deal while on the run from police. He was hiding at his homie Tony Cobby's house. Someone he was involved in something with was in jail for the crime, and Nipsey knew the police were looking for him. They didn't have a warrant out yet. They hadn't put it out so they wouldn't alert him.
You know, I was on the run. I had a case pending. My crime was in jail. I thought I was about to go do a lot of time, and I hid out. I went to my homeboy Tony Cobby house and hid in the house for 3 months.
You didn't know you had a warrant?
Nah.
But Nipsey knew what was going on, so he was like, I'm gonna sign my deal to get this check and fight my case.
You know, by the grace of God, I got out of that situation. I ended up doing a probation violation. I signed my deal to Epic. We went to Jamaica to celebrate. We came back and the police was at my store waiting for me the next day and took me to jail.
Here's the wild part.
I went to jail and I fought my case for like 2 months in the county, got out and I just came to New York and just started recording what became the Bullets Ain't Got No Names mixtape.
But nothing compared to what his brother Black Sam went through. Nipsey's brother buried $200,000 in the backyard. Just buried it and started from zero again, grinding back up. When they went back to dig it up, $107,000 of that $200,000 was mildew, gone. Nipsey remembered it vividly. His mom, his little sister, she was probably like 10 at the time, they were all in the living room with blow dryers trying to salvage the money. His brother was having a breakdown. They had stacks of wet money throughout the whole house, stinking up the place, trying desperately to dry it out. Nipsey was just a kid watching this whole disaster unfold, learning the hardest way possible that you can't just bury cash in the backyard and expect it to be okay. Then Epic Records experienced financial issues in 2010. Nipsey didn't renew his contract. He walked away from the major label system and never looked back.
I wasn't looking at it like that. I'm like, this is how the cookie crumbled. I'm gonna go this route. But it was a regime change up there. And Charlie Walk signed me when Brandon Creed and a dude named Adam Granite was in that building. And then also Johnny Shipes.
Nipsey broke down exactly what happened. There was a regime change at Epic. Charlie Walk had signed him when Brandon Creed, Adam Granite, Johnny Shipes, and Jim McDaniels were in the building. They believed in him. They had power. When they left, a whole new cast came in. And when there's a regime change at a label, you don't really get credit for what's already signed. It's in their interest to bring new talent.
They ain't dropped me, but I had a convo with the general manager. I'm like, bro, I know how to get it out the trunk. You know what I mean? I appreciate what we done. Let's work for another year. And if we can't get the album out, just let me go back and don't hold my career up. Let me go back indie.
XXL Magazine named him to their 2010 freshman class as most determined. But Nipsey had learned something crucial. He didn't need the industry's permission. After leaving Epic, Nipsey founded All Money In Records. On December 21st, 2010, he released The Marathon. A year later came The Marathon Continues with YG and Dom Kennedy. But the move that changed everything happened in 2013. Nipsey announced he was releasing a mixtape called Crenshaw and would sell 1,000 physical copies for $100 each. People thought he was crazy. Elliot Wilson told him Rap Radar wouldn't post a link unless Nipsey wrote something explaining why he was charging $100.
I ain't gonna do that, but if you write something about it, about why you charging $100 for clarity, I'll post that. So I'm like, all right, that's fair. You know what I'm saying? That's actually the better move. You know what I mean? And I just typed up something in a text. You know, I sent it to him in a text, and then B-Dot posted it. Y'all posted it.
Then something incredible happened. Jay-Z read it and bought 100 copies. That's $10,000 just to support the move.
He was like, yeah, bro, I just got a call from Rock Nation. You know, Jay-Z and them just sent 10 bands, you know, for him. Okay, cool.
But here's the part nobody talks about. When Jay-Z negotiated to use the Hard Knock Life sample from Annie back in 1998, he made a deal with the owners of the copyright that said every other hip-hop artist after him could use the record too. So when Nipsey wanted to sample it years later, he just needed Jay-Z's clearance. The Annie clearance was already handled. Jay had literally set it up so any hip-hop artist after him could benefit. That's the type of forward-thinking move that inspired Nipsey. Nipsey sold all 1,000 copies in less than 24 hours.
Man, bro, we read up for tour. We sold 1,000 the first day. And then when we did
It's
the
1,000 at $100.
Yeah.
How much is that, Dip?
100 racks. Yeah.
He made $100,000 off a free mixtape. Then they did pop-up shops in every city on tour. Brooklyn, Chicago, every major city. Hustlers were pulling out stacks, buying 10, 25 copies at a time. It was almost like a statement, a salute. They ran through box of them. But the success of Crenshaw brought something else, criticism. In 2013, Complex Magazine put Nipsey on their underachievers list. That was 3 weeks before documentary. There's no conspiracy theory. Nipsey Hussle died in gang violence, something that was very tragic to our society. But the theories persisted. Why? Because Dr. Sebi himself had died under mysterious circumstances in 2016, arrested in Honduras, held without bail, and dying in police custody from pneumonia. His family claimed he was healthy when arrested and questioned the official story. The most chilling part of the documentary trailer
Yeah, at the studio, finishing up a late night session. We want to just invite everybody to be at the studio,
finishing up a late night session. We want to just invite everybody to be a part of a glorious weekend because it's official. You know, my brother is putting out the album Victory Lap. Yeah. It's got All-Star Weekend here in LA. Yeah. Love is back in the air. Yeah, all that.
It seems like Diddy is being accused of everything these days. And now the narrative is it's coming from Lauren London. Something about Nipsey's passing. Because ever since the 50s Diddy documentary got out, the feds, lawyers, and accusers have all been trying to figure out just how Diddy rabbit hole goes and who else could have been a victim. And it's beginning to look like the top of that list might have been Nipsey Hussle himself.
He was putting out this music, and I guess Puff was helping him in some kind of way. And he said something. And what he said was, I need my music and my albums to have the same feel of that life after death, like Biggie's album. Now, you taking a spiritual person who's asking for something. He said, I wanted that same feel as life after death. That same feel was that Biggie got, and he went on to sell about 10 million albums.
Now, the messed up part is that Lauren has actually spoken about Diddy before, but not in the way people are trying to twist it. In her own words, he was one of the people who helped her get through Nipsey Hussle's funeral. But Diddy helped Biggie's mom through her son's funeral. And if we are going to believe even a part of what we saw from that documentary, it was the same Diddy that got Biggie's estate to pay back his expensive funeral. And then there's the clip from when Diddy helped produce Nipsey's album, Victory Lap, where it seemed like there was some unspoken tension between them. But it's quite different to know what's speculation and what's fact. But we know where it all began. Nipsey Hussle was on March 31st, 2019, outside his Marathon clothing store in Los Angeles. 6 years later, the story behind his tragic passing was solved. Eric Holder Jr. was arrested, charged, found guilty of first-degree murder, and sentenced to 60 years to life. According to the law, the case was closed. No mystery suspect, no hidden plot, no secret shooter. But Lauren, who had been with Nipsey for years and shared a son with him, went through one of the most public, brutal kinds of grief you can imagine. She had to mourn on stage, literally, in front of cameras at a memorial in the Staples Center, and then somehow go home and raise her kids through all of that. And this is where Diddy actually comes into the picture in a real way. In 2022, Lauren sat down on Angie Martinez's IRL podcast and opened up about how hard Nipsey's funeral was for her. She said the whole day felt surreal, like God was carrying her through, because she didn't even want to get dressed, didn't want to be seen, didn't want to go. And she revealed that it was Sean Diddy Combs who pushed her to show up and speak. According to her, he told her she had a responsibility to stand up for Nip's legacy, even if she felt like collapsing. So on paper, it's simple. Diddy, who was older, more experienced with grief and fame, gave her advice that helped her get through one of the worst days of her life. She credits that advice as part of the reason she found the strength to walk out, face the world, and speak. So what changed? How did we go from that version of Diddy to the one the internet is now saying was probably behind the passing of Nipsey? How did Lauren go from the woman he comforted during grief to a piece in some secret Diddy web? Well, there's a trail. There are breadcrumbs that trace back to a year after Nip's passing, when Diddy posted some black and white photo of himself and Lauren on Instagram. Now, there was nothing crazy in the captions, nothing explicit, just pictures. But it was out of pocket, and there was no way Diddy didn't know that the rumors would come flying in after a post like that. Rumors that Lauren was now dating Diddy just a year after her man passed. Today, with the documentary accusing Diddy of going after the women of both his friends and foes, the rumor doesn't sound so unbelievable. But Lauren shut it down immediately back when it dropped. She jumped on Instagram and shut that down immediately. She posted a text image that said, "Stop playing with me and my name." In the caption, she reminded everyone that she's a woman in grief, that she doesn't play about Nip, her family, or her character, and that people needed to stop twisting her life into gossip. Then she posted a picture of Nipsey with the caption, "Forever and even after, call me Lady Hustle." The fans loved it. You had comments like, "Why the f*** would Lauren London date Diddy? You don't go from Nipsey to Diddy, ever." And another comment was like, "The way Lauren London's still riding for Nipsey and not making him look bad, even though he's physically been gone for a year, is inspiring. When you truly find your soulmate and they value you." That comment was real. But the one that really caught my eye was, "Lauren London is off limits. Vanessa Bryant is off limits. Tons of parks around the country to play in if you feel like playing, but they are not the ones. Have some respect. Let them heal in peace." Now, that line put Lauren and Vanessa in the same sentence for a reason. Because when you think about it, the parallels are scary. Two women who built a life with a man the world adored. Two women who had to watch that man's death become breaking news, memes, debates, think pieces, and hashtags. Two women who had to walk into giant arenas full of cameras and strangers and somehow be strong for the public while their world was falling apart. Vanessa had to sit front row at Kobe and Gianna's memorial in the Staples Center, the same way Lauren did for Nip. Both of them had to stand up and speak while their husbands' faces flashed on jumbotrons, while commentators dissected every tear, every dress, every sentence. The world wasn't just watching, it was judging how they grieved. Then after that, it didn't stop. For Vanessa, there were reports, lawsuits, exploiting Nipsey's death. When she didn't work, it was, she's wasting her potential. And then on top of all that, you've got Diddy posting those photos, kicking off dating rumors she never asked for, and now this whole new wave of Diddy allegations feeding the idea that there had to be more behind it. It's possible the reason all of this is coming to the surface is because of the Diddy documentary. Or it is also possible that people have been looking closely at the history between Lauren and Diddy. But what's that history? The only three things folks got is her old modeling/brand links to him, the story about him giving her funeral advice, and those black and white photos he posted. No one is trying to say Diddy is a saint, or that we didn't see what he did in the Cassie video, or we don't know how he got Kim Porter, or we don't know the history between him and Misa Hilton. We all know it. What folks should understand is it's possible for a man like Diddy to be more than one thing. The man that kisses his daughters goodnight was the same man dragging and beating up Cassie in the lobby. The real question now is, what version did Nipsey get when he was alive? And what version did Lauren have to deal with before the feds took him to jail? And if Diddy really had anything to do with Nipsey's demise, will we ever know the truth when there's already a man serving 60 years behind bars for it?
I cracked you up. At the studio, finishing up a late night session. We want to just invite everybody.
Okay, you have to tell me. You're
Oh
just
my
telling me
God.
this now.
I know, yeah.
So please share. Please share. Why?
I have a friend.
Why were you there? And what did you learn?
I learned that no one really dies and that, it's just an experience in the physical form and we're attached to our personalities, but that we're just souls and that we continue and continue and continue.
Nip ain't know what type of monster he was.
Lauren? No, I'm saying Lauren introduced me to Puff.
Oh, got you.
I mean, I knew Puff, but it was more of a personal relationship after, we was at Cassie's birthday.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Nip had no ego. So, you know what I'm saying? Like Nip came to me and said, I want you to mentor me. I want to get into real estate. I want you to teach me all your, like your business secrets. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whenever you got questions, pull up. And then on his last album, people do not know this. Somebody tried to jerk me, but I fixed it. I actually am one of the executive producers of Nipsey Hussle's last album. Victory Lap. Yeah, Victory.
People forgetting it was her and Lauren London. I just find it so funny how people are always omitting names and not really looking into the.
Just when we thought this mess with Diddy couldn't get any worse, Lauren London just stepped into the chat and spilled major tea about Diddy's alleged involvement in the death of Nipsey Hussle. Lauren was the one who dragged Nipsey into Diddy's circle in the first place, so if anyone knows what really happened between him and Diddy, it is her. Not only that, Word on the street is Diddy allegedly gave Lauren direct orders to bring Nipsey to him. And baby, she did just as she was told. Girl, folks are even saying she knew about the mess that was being done with Cassie and said nothing about it. Okay, so for those of y'all who don't know, Diddy and Lauren used to be very close. Their relationship was giving very much godfather-goddaughter type of vibe. Now, it's unclear if he ever put his hands on Lauren as he did to Cassie, but Lauren definitely learned some dark things from Diddy when they were still very close. Now, if y'all remember, there were rumors that Diddy bought a golden casket weeks in preparation for Kim's death, weeks before she died. Well, Lauren apparently also did something very similar just weeks before Nipsey died. And the worst part is, she was shameless enough to admit it during a very disturbing interview she had after his death. Now, the reason people started digging into Lauren is that when Diddy's trial began, the jury got a list of celebrities who were connected to the case for them to look into. And those names included Michael B. Jordan, Kid Cudi, Cassie, Michelle Williams, Mike Myers, Dawn Richard, and of course, Lauren. A lot of people speculated that the reason Lauren was included was that she might have helped Diddy take out Nipsey Hussle. The crazy thing is, when Nipsey died, people were already thinking he was set up, but nobody connected his death to Diddy. You see, when Nipsey was alive, he wasn't your typical rapper. He worked on his own, owned all his music rights, and was showing the younger generation of rappers how to build their own wealth through their music, instead of signing with these big record companies. This obviously made industry executives like Diddy very upset. We've all heard about how Diddy used to fool these artists into signing terrible contracts that let him take a huge piece of their earnings. Someone like Nipsey was the complete opposite of what he wanted in the industry, and if he couldn't get a cut of that money, then Nipsey would need to be eliminated before these younger artists started following his example. Now, this is where Lauren enters the picture, because based on an interview that Nipsey did at the Breakfast Club, he actually didn't really know Diddy until Lauren brought them together. Lauren and Diddy had already been really close for many years by this time, so she knew exactly what type of person Diddy was. But guess what? She still brought Nipsey into Diddy's world anyway, and people think it's because she and Diddy were in cahoots.
No, I'm saying Lauren introduced me to Puff.
Oh, got you.
I mean, I knew Puff, but it was more of a personal relationship after, we was at Cassie's birthday.
Nipsey was only 33 when he was killed. Based on reports, he was shot 11 times in his head and body. Eric R. Holder Jr. is now doing 60 years to life in prison for this, but people think he is just the fall guy. And this actually makes sense, because Diddy is known for getting other people to do his dirty jobs and then having them take the fall for it. That's what he did to Shine. Now, for him to have made this work, he needed someone really close to Nipsey, but also on his side to be the go-between, to give him personal information about what Nipsey was doing. And according to Jaguar Wright, Lauren was that connection.
Hook up with the biggest rapper at the time. Everything's great. By the way, isn't she? Lauren is the one that introduced Nip to Diddy. Diddy couldn't even get to Nip, even though he had ties in LA. It was Lauren that brought Nip to him.
Based on what Jaguar is saying, people felt like she was suggesting that Lauren betrayed Nipsey by telling Diddy everything Nipsey was telling her behind closed doors. People even said the things Lauren allegedly told Diddy might have been what he used to get rid of Nipsey. Girl, there are even pictures of Lauren and Nipsey with Diddy where it truly seems like Nipsey is more like the third wheel. Anyway, remember what I said earlier about Lauren doing something similar to what Diddy did when he bought Kim's coffin days before she died? Well, Lauren revealed on Angie Martinez's podcast that long before Nipsey was killed, she attended a death seminar to learn how to deal with loss. Keep in mind, when she went to this death seminar, Nipsey was still living, but it's like Lauren somehow knew he wouldn't be around much longer, and she was getting ready for it. People couldn't stop pointing out how oddly similar this whole situation was to Diddy buying a casket even before Kim passed away.
Okay, you have to
my
telling
God.
me this now.
I know, yeah.
Please share, please share. Why?
I have a friend.
Why were you there? And what did you learn?
I learned that no one really dies and that, it's just an experience in the physical form and we're attached to our personalities, but that we're just souls and that we continue and continue and continue. And if you have a spiritual relationship with someone on earth, you will have one with them when you leave earth. So I did this 2-day seminar on death.
And this was how long ago?
I had to be 25.
What sent you there?
Do
you find that weird though?
I'm weird.
No, it's not weird that you would go. It's almost like you were preparing yourself for what you would have to deal with.
I told you I didn't have connection to Earth at a young age.
I know, but you don't find that as like you were preparing yourself for what you were going to have to deal with.
But that we're all going to have to deal with.
Diddy never had anything to do with Nipsey's music career, but after Lauren got him to become friends with Diddy, he was suddenly all involved in Nipsey's work, and he even served as executive producer on Nipsey's final album, Victory Lap. And guess what that means? It means got a big portion of Nipsey's earnings from that album, especially after he was killed, since a lot of people were streaming it even more once he died.
Nip had no ego. So, you know what I'm saying? Like Nip came to me and said, I want you to mentor me. You know, I want to get into real estate. I want you to teach me all your, your business secrets. You know what I'm saying?
Based on what Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal said, Nipsey went to Diddy asking him to help make Victory Lap have the same vibe as Biggie's Life After Death album. Keep in mind, Life After Death came out after Biggie was killed. So there was a lot of spiritual energy connected to that album, and the fact that Nipsey wanted to copy that feeling meant Diddy would need to get into some dark practices to pull it off. And people think the price for that may have possibly been Nipsey's life.
Taking a spiritual person who's asking for something. He said, I wanted that same feel as life after death. That same feel was that Biggie got, and he went on to sell about 10 million albums or 10 million copies. I was saying, you gotta watch what you say to demons, because it just might come true.
Now, when it comes to the real reason Diddy wanted Nipsey out of the game, that's still a mystery. But folks believe it was for both business and spiritual reasons. And of course, they are also convinced that Lauren had a hand in Nipsey's death. People have been putting the pieces together, and they think she's clearly more mixed up in this than she's admitting. One person said, Diddy used Lauren to get Nip to put him on his album as an executive producer, so he can get the cash without the work. Another person said, Lauren introducing Nip to Diddy is wild. Wild. That's not a person to introduce to someone you love. Not at all. Lauren was involved too? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget
All right, y'all. So, boom. Yeah, man. What y'all think? Lined up Nip? You think she backdoored Nip for Diddy? Because, Diddy being the executive producer of Victory Lab, when Nip dies, he gets all the earnings from that. Nip saying that he wanted Victory Lab to be like the feel of Life After Death of Big's album. Now, you heard Gene. The only reason that Big album wasn't so big like that, Life After Death was so big, was because it came out after Big was already passed away. So be careful what you wish for. But boom, we'll get to the next one later on. I'm gonna take a couple of breaks. Put me on Kick Discord, TikTok, Rumble. Live. We gone.